Well, I think Lucifer body jumping and the hunt for Lucifer is a good story. Certainly, the return of Mom gives us a lot of story opportunities. We're very interested in that. And this British Men of Letters that we introduced late in last season are going to give us a lot of stories. The overarching mythology is not as big this year as it was last year, because I don't know how we could necessarily duplicate that. But our plan is to be a little more intimate, a little more personal, get back to our roots a little bit more in terms of the standalones that we do. But first half, I would say it's sort of more the hunt for Lucifer, and the second half is kind of more the British Men of Letters, who don't quite see things the way our guys do. Well, our first Lucifer is going into the body of a aging rock star, and that's going to be played by Rick Springfield, so we're really pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
Well, we're bringing, I don't know if you remember the Tool, the German necromancers. They're coming back. They're good. Just sort of, one thing we always say we pride ourselves on is that try not to necessarily create a new monster, but take monsters that you might be familiar with, but give them their own story. And that's probably worked best for us. Alpha Vampire, the Good Vampire, the girl, when we did the found footage episode and became a werewolf, those are all interesting characters. And they can really help drive stories. So, not doing cardboard cutout monsters where it's just the hunt that's the thing, but what are these monsters like? How do our boys feel about them? One thing that's different from our guys with the British Men of Letters is the British Men of Letters, everything's black and white. Either you're good or you're bad. If you're a monster, you're bad. They're not interested in your story. Well, our guys have learned over the years, sometimes there's a story to tell, and in the question of Kate, that werewolf, they were cool about hunting her down. The British Men of Letters don't have that idea at all. So,
is that going to cause a problem with the boys?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Right.
That's a little more second half of the season stuff, but yeah, they're going to knock heads pretty good. One that I can talk about. They give us very specific instructions. You can't give this away. You can't give that away. Well, I think the episode with the Tool is really a good episode, and it's. Hitler will play a part in it, that's about as much as I can tell.
Any episodes like Baby coming up?
We haven't planned anything like that. That was really Robbie Thompson's brainstorm.
That was an awesome episode.
And we had the right guy directing it, Tom Wright. A very difficult episode to do. But that's the kind of thing that we, over the years we've embraced. But so maybe we get pitched 6, 7 crazy episodes a year. One will be, we say, okay, we'll go with that. Changing channels was that kind of episode. Certainly Baby was. French Mistake. We have a lot of new writers on staff this year. I think we're going to sort of find out what their strengths and weaknesses are.
Who are some of the new writers? Who are some of the new writers?
A couple of them are off a screen. Steve Yockey is one guy's name, and then we have a guy, Davey Perez. And they're all kind of, one thing we wanted to go for was find some fresh voices. We're going to miss Robbie. Robbie was great. But so far so good with the new writers.
Okay.
And we'll see. And if somebody has sort of cut their teeth and done the job we want, they come in with a kind of a baby type of episode. We certainly don't shy away from them, but we're very careful before we do them because you can really. We discuss this all the time in a very way that is not real because we don't see the end in sight. And some days we see them going off a cliff holding hands in the Impala, and other days they just ride off in the sunset in the Impala. We'll worry about that when we get there, I guess. It's complicated. They really don't know her. She doesn't know them. She's a person who's at a time. When she passed away, there was no internet. Maybe the cell phones were that big. And she has, been in heaven, and our heaven is the fondest memories. And her fondest memories are this baby and this little boy. And there's this whole 30-year gap that she doesn't know anything about. So it's a complicated, interesting relationship, and we're really happy to have Samantha back. It's great.
And for us.
Well, I think the biggest surprise is I'm going to start playing all the roles. And I think it's a bold choice, but the right choice. Groundbreaking.
Yeah,
exactly.
very
No, I think that the biggest surprises we have are, you've got Mary coming back, you've got the British Men of Letters. We have, I think, some really cool kind of curveballs that are being thrown at our guys. I think the way they react to that is, to me, that's always the most fulfilling thing. You know what I mean? No matter what, whether it's the darkness, whether it's God, those can be great characters and great moments, and I think they are. But how Sam and Dean and Castiel and Crowley and our core characters react to that and play off of it is always, to me, the most fun.
Can you tell us about the relationship with Mary and the boys?
Sure. I think with Mary, you're looking at it from two different points of view. From Mary's point of view, she grew up hunting, she gave it up, and she passed away. And now she comes back 30 years later, there's this huge gap. She met Sam and Dean in the past, but her memory's gone. She doesn't remember them. She met them as a ghost, but there was some futziness there, but that's gone away as well. So she's coming back, she's looking at this guy, when you saw it in the preview clip that we showed, it's like, here's this guy standing there, it's like, called her mom and reached out to try to touch her, and she's like in a fucking dark park. Like this, as far as she's concerned, this is like a mugging scenario. And she's wearing a nightie, yeah. Anybody in that situation is going to throw that guy on the ground and jam a foot into his throat, right? Mm-hmm. And so, but once she realizes who he is, I think, Mary's, it's an easier buy for Mary because she's been around her. She's heard about people coming back before. It's not rare, but it does happen. But she's coming back into a world that is, in some ways, very similar in terms of they're still hunters, they're still monsters, but in some ways very different because, it's been 30 years, when she, they didn't even have, there's a line in one of the early episodes, she's like, we didn't even have an electronic typewriter in the house, and now everybody's on their phone, So for her, and then looking at Sam and Dean, her vision of Sam and Dean is a very pure, almost mythologized version because they were kids, adorable. Dean was 4 years old, and he was this precocious toddler. Sam was a brand new baby. Now he looks at them, and she looks at them, and they're heroes, and she's incredibly proud of them, but also I think very conflicted. So you've got two guys that are doing the exact thing she ran away from herself. And then from Sam and Dean's point of view, all their lives they were told stories about Mary. John told them stories. Dean told Sam stories. So here to have her come back in, and they've gotten to know her a little bit, and they realize I think that she wasn't maybe the perfect person she was portrayed to be. But I think in getting to know her and getting to know the good stuff and the bad stuff and everything all together, it creates a really interesting kind of dynamic because she and Sam have a lot in common. She walked away from hunting, so did Sam. But at the same time, Mary is, when it comes down to it, in the moment, she's much more like Dean. She's much more of a take charge, guns blazing type.
Yeah, I wondered if that was going to be a conflict between Dean and Mom, the way Sam didn't get along with the father.
Yeah, I don't think we want to build up a conflict in that way. I think at least, especially initially, everyone's just so happy to have Mom back. But as the season goes on, certainly there are going to be different points of view. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah. That would be episodes 15 through 17. It's actually art. No, it's interesting because someone just pitched a Tunnel Monster episode. But I know, exactly, like Steve Yockey is your best friend because he's the guy that's pitching that. No, in terms of the monsters, I think, for us, we feel like our core monsters are our best monsters. So, werewolves, vampires, things like that, shapeshifters, demons, angels, and for us, it becomes less about the monster and more about the conceit and more about the role. Because you can have a werewolf, it can be a really boring werewolf, it can be a very compelling werewolf. And whether you call it a werewolf or a werecat, it's going to be the same character. So for us, it's about kind of leaning hard it up. But I mean, I think episode 3 we're doing I think a very cool ghost story. Episode 4, I think we're bringing back something we haven't seen for a long time, which is psychics on the show. Episode 5, is the return of the Fool Society and some fun that happens there. And then episode 6 is really kind of a really fun, hunter wake, a bunch of hunters in a room playing a drinking game where whenever anybody says Wendigo, they all take a shot. And it's just I think all the early episodes have a really interesting feel. They feel like our show, but I think they feel different from each other. Again, that's what Supernatural does. Every episode can be kind of its own thing in some ways. I think today, I don't think 23 straight episodes of Myth, I think would get tedious for everybody. We need those breaks to go be funny, those breaks to go be crazy. And I think the audience likes them too. I mean, if you look at the episodes people really respond to, yes, they are the big Myth episodes, but they're also the episodes that, like the last season, like the baby episode. Like there was nothing mythological going on in that episode. But because it was such a departure and such a cool idea and so well executed, people really responded to it. And so our hope is to kind of keep that going. In this case, what makes the season interesting and what makes kind of the focus on hunters interesting is because we used to see, especially our demon angel characters, when they would come in mostly in mythological episodes. And you're right, hunters would come in mostly in standalones. That's almost flipped this season because a lot of our myth leans harder into, it's about hunting. It's about the world of hunters. It's British bit of letters. It's about building out that world. So they're going to be a much more, I think, a core part of our myth than they have been in previous seasons.
Are we back?
We're going to see, I think, Jodie will be back for us.
Good.
Donna, Claire, Alex will be back for us. We certainly hope, characters like Garth and people like that will be back for us. And then we're introducing some new characters that we hope people will enjoy.
Okay.
But you never know. The actors could be horrible. You never know.
Okay.
Was Lady Chinese inspired by Lady Penelope from the Thunderbolts?
You know what? I can't confirm or deny. I know. I'm sorry. No, but I think and her specifically, she has a very interesting view of Sam and Dean because it's been her thesis project essentially has been them. She has a very strong opinion and a very strong negative opinion. And we will find out she doesn't represent the whole of the British men of letters. She has a very she's an extremist. We'll find out some people aren't quite as extreme, but in her mind, she's completely justified in everything she's saying. Nothing she's saying is wrong. She's just looking at it through a very specific lens. Let's put it that way. Bring back Charlie. I would love to bring back Charlie.
Good.
And Felicia is
Let's
awesome.
have it. Let's
And bringing her back. But I do think anytime you're bringing a character back, it's what is the time and the place to make it have the most impact. I mean, Mary Winchester, we waited 11 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not saying we're going to wait 11 years for Charlie, although we probably will be around, or hope so.
Yes.
But I think that's the question. It's to me, it's not an if, it's a when. But when can that really pay off for you? Not just in a, oh my God, here's this character we love coming back, but in a way where it's like, this is coming back and heavily impacting the show in our lives. Yeah, no angels. No, I think there'll be much less of a focus on angels and demons this year. I think it's more grounded, more earth-based.
Okay.